Half-Life came out almost 27 years ago. And I've basically never stopped playing it. I feel like I can always boot it up and jump straight back exactly where I left off. And let me tell you, I'm not the only one. People are still talking about it, making videos, and yeah, even in 2025, the average player count hangs around 1,000, which is kind of insane when you think about it.
Impressive.
But do you really think all those people are just replaying the campaign over and over again? Of course not. They are playing mods. The Half-Life modding scene is still alive. Actually, more than that, it's booming. Every month, dozens, if not hundreds of new mods pop up.
My name is Tom Shelby.
And trust me, I've played a lot of them. Good ones, bad ones, cursed ones. I even made videos about them. Please watch those. Please. But there's always been this question in the back of my mind that I could never quite answer. Why is Half-Life still one of the most modded games, even in 2025? To answer that, we need to turn the clock back a little bit, all the way to 1998. You know, the year of the Monica Lewinsky scandal, the Truman Show, the Big Lebowski. Man, what a year. And then, in November, Half-Life finally dropped on the shelves. And it changed everything. It was something fresh, something different, and everyone just simply loved it. Yeah, sure, the campaign was pretty short.
Time to choose.
But the players quickly realized that Half-Life was more than just a revolutionary single-player FPS. It was a blank canvas. And that canvas is Half-Life's game engine, the GoldSrc. GoldSrc is a heavily modified Quake engine. And let me tell you, it wasn't flashy by today's standards.
Let's smoke some crack, Gordon.
But it was flexible, hackable, and moddable. What else did you need? And most importantly, Valve wanted people to mess with it. They released the game's SDK early, bundled in tools like WordCraft or Hammer, and even hosted mod expos, where creators could showcase their work. These expos gave birth to some of the most iconic mods, like Action Half-Life, Wanted, or Gunman Chronicles. I made a video on that, by the way. Obviously, Valve picked up the mods they saw potential in. I mean, we all know they are not allergic to money, right? But it was also a huge opportunity for the modders. Not just to make bank, but sometimes even land a job at Valve as a bonus. The first expo was held in 1999 at an internet cafe. And just look at these photos, it must have been such a vibe. And I'm pretty sure there was at least one candidate that you know, called Counter-Strike. You know, that semi-famous game which definitely wasn't the cause for a million gambling addictions. CS was the proof that mods could become something bigger, and that inspired the community. But as usual, I went ahead of myself. Now that we know what powers Half-Life, let's see why modding thrived. First of all, as I said, the GoldSrc was just friendly. Valve released a nice SDK and even access to the source code. You could open up Hammer, build a room, place some headcrabs, and playtest it within less than an hour. The map editor was rather easy to use, sound effects used simple WAV files, and textures were just BMPs. Simple as that. It felt like anyone could make their own map, or even a whole mod. Even a child. Okay, I take that back. Please don't force your kid to make Half-Life mods, please. Modding a game felt more accessible than ever, and more importantly, it was fun. Well, until you had to touch the dirty source code, but let's not get into that.
What the f is this piece of shit?
Even rebuilding the whole gameplay loop and stepping outside of Black Mesa to create something entirely different was possible. Look at Day Hunger from '99, a full-on horror story set in the 50s. They completely changed the setting, added custom cutscenes, and built a brand new experience, only a year after the original Half-Life release. That's crazy. One of my favorite mods, by the way. I will definitely make a longer video about it. But the game engine wasn't the only thing that kept modding alive. My second point, the visuals. Let's be honest, Half-Life is a little blocky, but for some reason these aesthetics feel timeless, and since then it aged into something weirdly iconic. Every time I look at a gameplay footage, I can immediately tell if it's a Half-Life mod. The chunky textures, empty hallways, and spooky lighting give it a dreamlike, sort of liminal atmosphere. It's unsettling, but in a good way, like exploring an abandoned place from your childhood. Like this one. Tell me this doesn't look like a Half-Life map or something. And let me tell you, there are a lot of mods that emphasize on that vibe, like Liminal Void, the Backrooms, and if you know anything else, please let me know in the comments. I love these kind of mods. For a lot of people, including myself, these visuals provide a nostalgic, safe place that I can always return to. I know it's glitches, bugs, but I love it. And I know what to expect. And it never feels old or outdated. It's just charming. And my last point that kept the community going is the 6 years. Half-Life 2 didn't come out until 2004, 6 full years after the original. That feels like a lifetime when it comes to games. That meant no sequels, no engine swaps, and no massive updates to break every mod. Sure, we got a few expansions, well, 2 expansions, but these ran on the same engine, which meant stability for modders. So yeah, let's just say it, modders had a little bit too much time on their hands. These guys should get a real job, am I right? And oh boy, did they use that time well. As we got closer to 2004, mods started to become a lot more ambitious. We had the Specialists, a Matrix-style action shooter, firearms for big military loadouts, Poke 646, which felt like a true sequel. And honestly, I could go on, but I will talk about all these mods in separate videos, so don't worry. This is what I consider the golden age of GoldSrc modding, or I could even say GoldSrc age of GoldSrc modding. Oh, what? I don't know what I was thinking with that one. Anyway, naturally this golden age faded a little bit when Half-Life 2 did release, and some creators immediately jumped over to Source, but I'm pretty sure a lot of them returned when they realized that Source just didn't have the same charm. Eventually, Valve started helping modders even more. They introduced systems like the Steam Workshop with extra tools and access to a bigger audience. A lot of fan-made mods even got a green light, and they are available directly on Steam. Well, sure, these are only the best of the best, like Delta Particles or Caged, but it's still a huge thing, because the message was clear. Modding is not only allowed, it's part of the culture, and knowing that your weird little horror mod could be the next Counter-Strike or Day of Defeat, that's a serious motivation. Imagine working on a tiny passion project, thinking maybe one day this will be on the Steam store. That's the dream. Okay, it's time to move our clock back to 2025, and the modding scene is still alive. It's probably the combination of nostalgia, the timeless graphics, and the fact that you can run Half-Life on a potato, basically. Tools have also improved. Mapping and scripting are easier than ever, and there are a lot of tutorials as well. And platforms like ModDB keep things visible. And I feel like the engine is still not at its limit. Some mods push it even further with modern compressions and new features. Just to mention a few from the last couple years. Echoes, which is a cinematic and beautifully crafted mod. Signal Lost, a polished experience with a fantastic pacing, or Field Intensity. Watch my video on that, by the way. And I feel like Black Mesa Classic also belongs here. I made a video about their first demo ages ago, but ever since the team improved it so much. I got a few sneak peeks from their custom render and it looks amazing. I honestly can't wait to try it. Just look at these pictures. God damn. And if you want, you can see how they build the maps in these time-lapse videos. Pretty cool, if you ask me. I will leave a link in the description. But let's not forget about the modders who are just here for the memes either. Funny and weird mods pop up quite often, and even though they are not going to change your life, they are still funny. Like Crack Life, for example. Okay, I feel like I need to wrap my thoughts up because I'm just gonna start rambling about random mods. What I'm trying to say is, at some point, modding Half-Life stopped being just a hobby. It became a language, a way to express game ideas, weird stories, atmosphere, jokes, nightmares, and that's how it should be. And the fact that Valve supported this whole process and still does is amazing. I don't see Half-Life's modding community dying anytime soon. It seems like people still have a lot of ideas, and I love that. Some of them are pushing the tech, some of them are chasing the nostalgia, some are just making dumb stuff with Barney screaming at you in Russian. But it doesn't matter. It's such an amazing feeling to see how players can keep a game alive for almost 30 years. And the fact that that's one of my favorite games, it's just the cherry on top. And let's not forget that the Half-Life modding community is not only special because of the games, but the people as well. I've had the chance to talk to some of them while making a video about their work. Everyone I've spoken to has been kind, open to feedback, and just straight up legends. Talking to them, sharing their work, it made me feel like even just for that, starting this channel was worth it. Let me know in the comments what your favorite mod is, and if you're still making mods in 2025, please never stop, because we need you. Our Discord is open to anyone who wants to have a chat or play some games, and as always, thanks for watching. Bye.